Hello, guys, and welcome back to Waffle and War by Command Battle Win. I am Commander Joseph, and this is Commander Azza.
Greetings.
So we skipped last week. Chris went off into the warp once again, and he did come back, but unfortunately he's too poor. He's got warp sickness. Is that a thing? Can you get warp sickness?
Yes, I assume it's like scurvy, which
Yeah,
is what
yeah,
Chris actually has.
yeah. So he is unable. He's probably at the moment. He's probably fast asleep in bed. So you just unfortunately, you've just got me and thee. So,
Me and thee,
me and
that's
thee.
fine by me.
So, what news do you have for the Waffle and War, Commander Asa?
Unfortunately, as we say most weeks, life has got in the way, and I've not done any painting. Um, my lion model is sat right next to me. Cloak is half finished, and it's saying, "Asa, paint me now. You've wanted me since April, and you've gone on about it, bored everyone to tears, and now you're not doing anything with me." Um,
Maybe
and I
that
feel
should be
bad.
a sound bite.
It's a very long
So,
sound, but
paint me.
I think it should be a bit more like this.
How about a little chaos?
Yeah,
Something like that. Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah. We'd
but
have
yeah,
to
no,
sacrifice some of the sound effects, unfortunately.
I, yeah, we need the bog standard orc, just normal. Whoa.
Whoa, yes.
It's waffle and
I mean that was great, but yeah. Yeah, so unfortunately, not much in the way of hobbying, although we did have a game yesterday.
We did. Now, we can't disclose too much about the game because it is currently not edited nor on the internet. But we can talk about your thoughts and feelings about playing 10th edition and whether you enjoyed it or whether you found it simplified but not simple.
Yeah. So I think we can give away that it was just a small game
We can.
because that's kind of important how I felt about it.
Yep. And we can say that it was Tyranids versus Dark Angels because I already posted a picture earlier on.
We did, yeah. Very
Mhm.
good, very good. Yeah, so it's a 500-point game, and the 500-point games don't really exist in 10th edition
No.
because they start at 1,000 points, and the
Mhm.
smaller ones are for the specific combat patrol game mode.
Yep. But we're rebels.
We are rebels, but presumably they do that because it's harder to balance the smaller games.
Yeah.
Um, and so, from my point of view, I really enjoyed, as I thought I would, attaching characters to units.
Yep.
That was great, but the small points the small points limit meant that we didn't have that many units and characters to do the attaching to.
Yes, and play around with.
Yeah, there were some units that I thought were going to be pretty poor. Um, I guess it doesn't give it away too much. I wasn't too enamored with the concept of the aggressors getting fewer shots.
Yeah, we were pleasantly surprised by that, weren't we?
Yeah, the twin linked was really good actually. I wasn't expecting that. I did get quite a few good rolls because I was using my Forge World dice.
Absolutely. Loaded.
Yeah, um, yeah. Well, we both know that.
Yeah, don't flush them down the toilet.
Couldn't afford that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's good.
But yeah, really good. Kept going back to that sort of cheat sheet of the weapon profiles, but that's nice and easy to reference.
And it's now alphabetical order.
Yes. Yep.
Makes it easier.
Absolutely. Yep. So that was great. Um, I still don't use stratagems. I never really did in ninth either. So I've got to get my head around that because stratagems I think are a little bit more crucial in tenth because there's fewer of them, um, and people die a lot quicker. So using the extra rules really helps.
Yeah, and they stick. I mean, they always have done, but they feel like they now really changed the gameplay. Um,
Yeah, it might just be our perspective because there were so many stratagems before. It's like,
yeah,
oh, I'm not even going to bother trying to learn them.
yeah. I know which ones I tend to use, and that's it. Yeah, that's what I was like.
Yeah,
But yeah,
but now there's a sort of mental barrier, and the it feels achievable that I could know them all now.
yeah.
and you just know it's going to change. Further down the line, they're going to add more and more stuff in, and it's going to get just like Ninth was.
Yeah, unfortunately, I think that's the way it's going to go. I think we're slowly heading towards Space Marines 2.0 Codex, and
Yes.
I think with that we're going to get a load of other stuff, maybe.
As in rules.
I think so. I
Yeah.
don't know. I hope not, because I really like what they've done. Like, I don't want to change just yet.
Yeah. No, I like the trimmed down version.
Mm, mm.
I wasn't enamored with the Dark Angels chapter. What do they call it? Not the chapter tactic. What's it called now?
Our detachment rule.
Task Force, is it?
So the Gladius Task Force is this Space Marines one.
Yeah,
You've
and
whatever
the
yours is.
Unforgiven Task
Yeah,
Force.
the
And that's the
Unforgiven.
objective control thing. Again, might be more useful in bigger games, I guess.
Yeah, I mean that was a point actually. Thinking about it, we never once at one point checked our OC, our objective control on some of the on.
There was no need because all of my data sheets had an OC of 1, and with the Dark Angels chapter tactic, you instead of going to an OC of 0 when you're battle shocked, it goes down to 1. So they remained unchanged.
Yes, but I had quite a few models on one of the objectives at one point, and I think they're an OC of 1, and there's 10 of them.
Yeah, well, the way we were
Oh,
playing it, you won that objective even though I had models on it because you had loads more.
yeah. I can't remember going. Oh well. Oh well.
No, my natural assumption there was you had control over it because you swarmed it,
Okay, yeah.
which makes perfect sense.
Yeah. Tyranids, swarms. I do like playing the Tyranids. I prefer the Tyranids in 10th edition than 9th edition, because 9th edition I just got so bogged down by like the nitty gritty sort of individual abilities, and like the hyper
Synapse
adaptive.
links.
Yeah, all of that stuff. It was just like too much.
Yeah.
But
Yeah. No, it was good. Would be interesting to play a longer game. I mean, you said you were very optimistic at the start. You said, "Oh, this is going to be a quick game."
yeah,
Finished at midnight,
yeah.
and we only got to the end of round 2.
Yep. Yeah, but
I
then
think
again,
the
we took it.
subsequent rounds would have been a lot quicker.
Yes, yeah, we did take it slow though, and we had a little break
Yeah.
halfway through for pizza.
Needs
Not
to
for
be done.
waffles, not for waffles.
Not for
Waffle and war. Yes. No, it was fun. It was enjoyable. It was nice to play against Space Marines because obviously I don't get the chance. And yeah, I was very surprised actually of how much they can give out. Um, yeah,
the
because
punishment.
yeah, yeah. I like the individual abilities that all the models get now. They're very nice and easy. Yeah,
Yeah,
I like 10th.
agreed. Do you think there's too many units with special abilities? Like almost every single unit has some kind of ability.
I think every single unit does have a special ability.
Is that a little overkill? Should there just be troops that just exist?
Should there just be troops that exist? Possibly, but then people wouldn't buy them and play them.
Mm,
I don't
yeah,
know. I mean, the abilities have essentially replaced what were the stratagems, really. That certainly
yeah,
in names, but like for the assault intercessors, I think they get like if they're in control of the objective, they get some ability. I can't remember what it is now. They get like extra hits, maybe. I don't know.
mm.
And like the intercessors get the sticky objectives, which is quite useful.
Oh
Um,
yeah, that's good.
yeah, no, I like them having. I don't know, maybe if I play bigger games, but I like the fact that all the information is on one card.
Yes,
It's just
definitely. And I
yeah,
printed out the data sheets 'cause obviously the Space Marine data cards you can't get anywhere, and they're already out of date.
hmm
Um, no, I just printed some off, and they were really handy.
and they're out of date again because they've just done another update for them, haven't they? Yesterday. I don't know what
Yes.
I don't know what they've added.
Um, I'd like to think it's just typos. I think the first update to the data cards was like things that were missing that should have been there, like
Yeah.
keywords.
I think one of them was for either the champion or one of the captain in Gravis. It missed the keyword leader from it. So but yeah, they've just added little bits of keywords. I did look through it, but I only looked at armies that were relevant to me. So
Yeah. Do you think that they'll get a new pack of index cards when the codexes come out? Or do you think they'll be like, right, we've done the cards, let's move on?
it's Games Workshop, so probably yes.
Because presumably the codexes will have the data sheets in anyway, but I just love the cards. That's what I wanted last edition, and
Yeah.
really happy we got it.
I also wonder whether we're going to get free like data cards in the future. Whether they've started free and then with the codexes they'll be exclusive to their app or the codex themselves.
Yeah, yeah, that's a good point. I think there's obviously a big business case for them to make sure that the data cards are free at the start of 10th edition, so
Yeah.
everyone can play 10th edition,
Yes.
and they're not waiting for codexes.
Yeah.
So it does sound like as soon as the codexes come out, the index cards will become obsolete, which is a shame. And you're right. I think the PDFs will go as well if that's the case. But I hope they don't, because these are great.
I really like. 'Cause, I mean, I use the Games Workshop app. I mean, Battle Scribe is now updated finally, but I kind of am now, and I think maybe that's something that they wanted to happen. People getting used to their app and preferring their app than to Battle Scribe because it visually looks so much better, obviously, and it just
Yeah,
I'm
it
toying
does.
with the subscription.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, we'll see.
because I've got Warhammer Plus, and I have not made the most of it at all. As I say, I got that Terminator model, gave it to Chris because it's a Chaos Terminator, and then I tried watching. I can't remember what it was, like Angels of Blood or something like that, and I couldn't watch it. People say it's really good. I just, I, it looks fan made.
That's because it is,
Um,
isn't it?
yeah, if they made something that was like the quality of the trailers that they put out,
Yeah.
I'd be all over that.
So I tell you what I saw that was really really good. So I started reading. I can't remember what the book was now. I read like I don't know, first about 10 pages of it something, and I went onto YouTube and I was like, oh, I wonder if the audio book is this on, so I could use it while driving. And somebody has made a hand drawn animation for the whole film, and I don't know where that's come from. I don't know if it's fan made or what, but it looks really good. Like
Was
they've
it like a sketch type thing, and it was
yeah.
about some Imperial Guard?
It wasn't Imperial Guard. It
No.
was. I think it was Blood Angels, maybe. I could
Oh,
get off
okay.
if I get off my bum and go over there. I could pick it up, but I
Yeah,
don't want
forget
to.
that.
It's all
Yeah,
over
we've got
there.
a microphone to sit next to.
Yeah.
Let's waffle and war, not reading and
Whedon.
being quiet. Yeah.
So yes, yeah. So the animation was good, and so I sat there and I went back to the front of the book, pressed play, and I was like just to make sure I was listening to it and reading at the same time. It's word for word, somebody narrating it, and then they've done like a sketch drawn animation over it. I just thought actually this looks so cool. Like the time and
Yeah,
if
cool.
it's fan made, so well, like hats off to them. It's such a like a good fan thing.
Yeah, I did watch something like that. There's a clip of something like that on Instagram, but I don't. It's made such an impression. I don't remember what story it was. But it was cool. Yeah.
That's the
So, have you
Popham.
delved into any other audiobooks?
So a while ago, um, I started listening to. Oh, actually, was it the Fright of Eisenstein? Is that one of the books? Something of
Flight
Eisenstein.
of the Eisenstein.
Yes, that
Yes.
I think that's the book that I started reading, and I think I started listening to the audiobook or another one.
That
Anyway,
is. Yeah. Oh, yeah, because you picked up a load of books, didn't you, for
I
cheap?
did for dirt cheap. Yeah, I got like 10 books for £12 or something like that from a charity shop. I went back to that. We're going off tangent subject. I went back to that charity shop a couple of weeks back with Chris just to make sure, and because there was loads of Age of Sigmar books there as well, and they've all been bought up now. But I was going to buy them all, even though I didn't want them. I wanted just to own them.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
Yeah, so I remember listening to an audiobook on YouTube because they're all freely available on there, and I was painting because Chris recommended them. I was painting, listening. I was like, this is annoying me. I don't understand what you're talking about. The word is too like it just seems overly complicated. Words are being used for the sake. I was like, no, and I went back to watching Netflix while painting.
I kind of get that. Yeah, Flight of the Eisenstein. That's a Death Guard centered one, so it's Horus Heresy. It's how the Death Guard fall to chaos and get influenced by Horus, and how one of the Death Guard guys escapes from typhus.
It was Hell's Reach. Sorry. It was Hell's Reach. Sorry. Whilst you were talking, I thought I'd take the opportunity to quietly sneak over. It was Hell Reach. Hell Reach? Hell's Reach. Sorry.
Yeah. I mean, that sounds like Helm's Deep to me, but
I read the part that goes into chapter 1, so part 1, the prologue. The prologue.
Gotcha. Okay, that's cool.
Sorry, you were talking. I rudely interrupted you. Then I do apologise.
It's okay. I'm used to it. But yeah, the Flight of the Eisenstein. I was listening to the Horus Heresy books in order.
Yeah.
And at that point I actually got ill. I just got like a nasty cold.
Oh, I remember you saying this.
And the Flight of the Eisenstein is centered around Death Guard, and they just use all the big words under the sun to describe horrible disease, plagues, all that kind of stuff. And I'm just lying there in bed because I like audiobooks when I'm ill because I don't need to use my eyes because my eyes are normally on fire.
Yeah.
But I'm bored and I can't sleep, so audiobook's great. But that I just had to turn it off. I said, no, I feel ill. You're just talking about this kind of stuff, and it's not my not my cup of tea when I feel like that.
Yeah, I get it. You're covered in snot. The last thing you want to hear about is some grotesque snot-like being.
Yeah, but I get what you mean about big words.
Yeah. What I find interesting about this Hell's Reach is I read the prologue and I was like, I don't know what people are talking about. This is really, really easy. Like, it's not. I mean, I don't have the highest reading level ever. I've never have done. And then I got into chapter 1 and I read that like a little bit and I was just like, okay, I'm out. It seems to have suddenly just changed. It's like they've written the prologue at a lower reading level to make it easier to understand, to get people into. I don't know. But yeah, I'm out, and I've just not picked it up. Although I am going on holiday tomorrow, so I'm tempted to take it with me. Whether I get the opportunity to read it or not is different. But yes.
Yeah, but also tired dad brain probably doesn't help either.
Yes, definitely. But yes, so I do like the idea of the audiobooks, but I don't know. I would like you were saying, if it was like high quality sort of TV entertainment, then I would watch it more. But yeah, the fan made stuff, as great as it is, I'm sure, and there's so much time and effort and skills that I will never have or nor will understand how you do it. It just doesn't appeal massively to me at this point in time.
Yeah, I'd say that's fair. But we didn't go into what you've been hobbying on this week.
That's very true. So many of you will not know that fairly recently there was an incident in which my so I waffle and war from the conservatory. I do my painting, I do my actual work from the conservatory, I do everything, music, everything in here. And I was one day sat here, it was really hot, I think, and the door blew open because it was on vent, blew open, and an owl came flying in. It was fighting a squirrel. It basically, the pair of them kamikazed into me. There was a bit of a kerfuffle, bit of a scuffle, and in the process, somehow the squirrel or the owl or myself, I'm not blaming anybody, accidentally went onto Amazon, accidentally put into the basket the photon printer mono Anycubic Mono 2, I think it is, accidentally bought the resin, which was water washable, not the isopropyl washable stuff, and then accidentally paid for it, and then
So,
it turned up the next day.
so what you're saying is, after all this talk,
Yeah.
of not getting a 3D printer,
But wanting
you
one.
but wanting one, you have finally got a 3D printer.
Yes, I have. I also just remembered that we missed this out from the introduction.
Welcome
Say
to
hello.
another episode of Waffle and War. Say hello.
Hello.
Hi.
Yes, so I now have a 3D printer, and I have been playing with it, and I have been printing off some lovely stuff. Nothing illegal. Games Workshop, if you're listening, which you totally won't be. Nothing illegal, but lots and lots of things that look like Games Workshop stuff, but aren't.
Lovely proxy models.
Lovely proxy models, which will not be used for playing, but will probably use for terrain or kit bashing.
That's what I'm most excited about. The kit bash potential, the terrain,
Yeah.
just making the battlefields seem a little bit more thematic.
For me, it's the terrain that I'm really excited about. Yeah, so I print off some good stuff. I've got lots and lots of free stuff thanks to Thingiverse and Cults 3D. Lots and lots of nice free stuff. There are some amazing people out there that can make this stuff, and again, like the fan animation, it's all witchcraft. I don't understand how you do it, and I never will, and so I take my hat off to you. But we have had a good friend of yours who has been very nice and has been playing with stuff and making us some stuff to print off, which we're slowly getting. Well, I'm slowly getting my head around printing it off.
So I think any listeners that listened to the last episode may remember us talking about the fact that Ben had designed us some terrain pieces.
Yep.
And at that point in time, we had no way of printing them. But within the space of one episode,
It's 2 weeks
you
technically now.
have,
We missed last
true.
week.
Because you were too excited with your printer.
Well, actually, me and you joined to Waffle and War, but we got too excited with the printer. You were there. We were
was there.
excited. Yeah, we were looking at stuff. And we got too excited, and then like an hour and a half went by, and like, okay, let's not Waffle and War. Let's just continue doing this.
Yeah, absolutely. So, yeah, exciting times. I think maybe we need to dedicate a whole Waffle and War to the 3D printing at some point.
Yeah.
But it's still very much a learning experience, because what you seem to have found already is that you can download stuff that's been optimized for 3D printed on Thingiverse or whatever, and they print pretty well. But if we make something ourselves in, well, maybe not Blender, but like Mesh Mixer or Tinkercad, they don't tend to print so well, and we don't know why yet.
Yeah. Although the thing that Ben made us that I printed, the large version failed twice for different reasons, but the little one came out perfect. So I don't.
Okay. So it could be physics related.
I think it's
Size,
probably.
weight.
Yes, yeah. So I did ask on the Reddit and on a printing one, and somebody said that they think that again, it's the exposure time, which I've mentioned before. I don't think I've got it set to the correct exposure time for my resin, but also he says that it might be, cause there was a picture I sent you where it was like about 4 millimeters, and then a line 4 millimeters, a line 4 millimeters, and all the way down it looked like lines. And he says it's basically that is where it's being cured, and it's not got enough time for the resin that's not being cured to get out. So as it's escaping, it's drying, and it makes like a little bit of a wing type thing. And says you just basically on those particular points of those levels, which is the closest to the actual print bed, you have to allow it time for that layer to separate properly, and let the resin escape properly.
So you just have to slow it down.
Just slow it down. But and I mean, going on to a slightly relevant subject, still 3D printing and still time related, It is so much quicker than my old PLA printer, like so much quicker. So I printed off a Smash Captain proxy in Gravis armor because I've liked the model and I really want a Smash Captain, a decent one. And that took like 3.5 hours, and the detail on it is phenomenal. It's absolutely insane. Yeah, if I tried to print that on PLA, it would be 15 hours, and I'd need to change the nozzle to like a 0.03 stupid and print it and piss about with it. And I'm so much happier. And it works straight out of the box. That's the main thing. It
Yeah,
just works straight out of
absolutely.
the box. The first few prints just, yeah. And that's what I wanted. I like the Ender
And
3 that I had that I nearly threw down the stairs, like literally physically. I had it at the top of the stairs and I was going to throw it down the stairs. That's how annoyed I was at it. And then I was like, no, calm down, put it down. You've spent 150 quid on it. Put it down. And I didn't touch it for
we've
3 months.
we've all been there, man. Yeah, and the quality is just leagues apart.
It's insane the amount of detail, like the purity seal on the Smash Captain. It's got the little, like a little skull sort of detail in the middle
Yeah.
of the purity seal, and it's just like, the hell. I printed off an Abra that failed. That was like the third print, and I printed it off far too small because I didn't know what I was doing. And it's tiny. It is like, it's not even a centimeter tall. It's just under. And
And
it's
for our
gone.
Waffle and War friends there, the Abra being the Pokemon.
Yes, yeah, yeah. But the detail on it, it's got detail on its eyes. You can see the eyes, you can see the ears, and the detail on the ears. I was just like, it's really is blowing me away. It's mad. I'm so
And
happy.
again, again for our Warhammer orientated contingent, you printed out a Nurgling as well, and
Yeah,
it's got its teeth.
yeah. It's got his little teeth. I gave that
It's
to Chris
lovely.
today. Actually, I stuck it to the inside of his car, and that apparently is where it's going to stay. It's on his
Excellent.
dashboard. Yes. So yeah, I'm very, very pleased. It means also, for example, when you buy a squad of zoomorphs, you can either build zoomorphs or you can build the Venithropes, so the poison versions. And I like both models, and you get enough to build both, but you just miss the chest piece and you miss the tail piece. That's the only piece that's on both. They are available, and I could print them both and then use the whole of my set and not waste the plastic. I mean, Games Workshop are missing a bit of a trick because they could sell those individual, knowing that that set is missing that particular piece to use the whole of the box set. They could sell the STL file for that particular piece, and people would buy it and print it off, and not waste plastic.
Sell the STL file, as if Games Workshop would do that.
I
They
know, but
deliberately made it so you'd have spare bits left over to make you buy more
I
sets
know,
in the first place.
I know, but back then, 3D printing was not a thing. So
Yeah.
and they could charge like they could charge £15 for the parts. You know what I mean? To do it yourself, and they would, or they could sell 20. People would buy it. People would also pirate the hell out of it, I'm sure. But
Yeah, easy to pirate and also hard to quality control. So if someone printed it and it came out wrong because of their settings, they'd just go, "Oh, this GW product's rubbish."
yeah, but most people
It's a
with
bit of a
3D
minefield.
printers, most people with printers know that that's a risk that you're going to take, I suppose. But I don't know.
Yeah, true.
It
Very true.
would be good. Other websites have started doing it, so you can buy STL files for custom made stuff now, and so I don't know. So I remember, if I don't think Josh even knows this exists, but remember Josh talking about it quite a lot about having STL files, and I was against it, but I would buy them. I would buy them if they were available, knowing that they would fit, because you could, when you get the STL files, they come certainly if they're pre rendered with supports and stuff, they come at the correct size. You just print it off. So knowing it was the right one, yeah, I'd give it a go. £7.99. That's what I think they should charge per piece.
See it done. See it done.
Yeah. Until
Well,
then, I will use proxy stuff.
use proxies and print off nice little bits of terrain.
Yes, custom terrain. That's what we all want.
Awesome.
Excellent.
Well, I
Right.
guess that's a good note to end on. A nice, happy new thing.
Yes.
I have a lion to paint. Hopefully, I'll have made some progress by the time we waffle and war next.
Yes.
Do we have an expected date for this new battle report to come out? Being as you're away, I'm guessing it's not soon.
So I will aim to do it. I think we're back Tuesday or Wednesday. So fortunately, the way that we do it now is so much quicker. So it's just a case of chucking it all in, checking the footage, putting it together, and then doing the little bits and bobs that we need to do, and also seeing how well the gimbal is going to work, because I'm really excited to see that.
Yeah, me too.
But yeah, so you should expect that hopefully next week. If not next week, the week after. Just depends. I'm off for
Sounds
2
good.
weeks, so I have loads of time to do it. Hopefully, he says. Famous last words.
Off for 2 weeks. The golden ticket.
I know. Childcare, not doing anything particularly, apart from the holiday that we're doing for a few days. Anyway, we digress. We've gone over half an hour. We need to stop. Right. Thanks for listening. Like, subscribe, check us out on Spotify, check us out on Instagram. Links are everywhere as you would expect them to be. And don't forget to move the troops. Or
It's waffle and
waffle and war. Anyway, hang on, wait a second. There's an outro. I forgot what this does.
like, subscribe, tell your mums, and
Move the troops.
I got
Okay.
all of it covered there.
Yeah. All right. Anyway, bye.
Bye.